Okay, so first thing we want to think about is, well, what does the rectangular tile look like? So you think about it like this, right? So it's a 2 by 3. So it's a rectangle, not a square. Is it going to fit into a square? Well, what we need to do then is to think about this not as 2 feet by 2 feet, but as 24 inches by 24 inches. Okay, so now it's not so bad, right? We say, okay, so it's 2 inches tall and 3 inches wide. Well, how many of these 3's can fit into 24? So we say, well, we can do 8 across, right? So we say 8 across. Let's see if I can make this a little wider. So if I make it a little bigger, so we're going to do 8 across. So we say, okay, 1, 2, 3, all the way to 8 across. Well, how many tall? So how many tall can I be? Well, there it's 2 inches, right? So 2, 4, 6, all the way up to 24. So I can have 12 rows of 8. So it seems like I could have 96. Now let's think about another way to figure this out. Okay, so there's another way to see if that seems plausible. So make this a little smaller again. How many total square inches do we have? Okay, so our total square inches is 24 times 24. Okay, and so we say, well, that is just like doing 28 times 20, right? Up 4 and down 4, which would be 400 and 160, 560 plus 60, so 576. Well, how many square inches is our 2 by 3? Well, our 2 by 3 is area equals 6. Right? Okay, so now, how many of these guys will fit in? Well, what is 96 times 6? Well, that's too hard. Let's not do that. Let's do 100 minus 4 times 6. Okay, so we'll try that. So we try that and we say that would be 600 minus 24 equals 576. So now we feel more confident in our 96 as our answer. Okay, so in this one, in 11.2.4, what we see is that this old idea that sometimes you must subtract. Okay? So sometimes you must subtract. So let's make it a little bigger, maybe even. Can I make it bigger? Okay, so there's our idea there, is that sometimes you must subtract. Okay, so to get the area of the Pentagon, we're going to take the area of the rectangle, and what will we subtract? We'll subtract out the area of the triangle, and that will then give us this area here, what's left. So we're going to take the bigger area minus the smaller area. You'll see this idea again and again. Okay, so let's clear out our diagram a little bit. Okay, so it's not so bad, the area of the rectangle. So the area of the rectangle, it looks like it just equals 11 times 27. Well, that's not so hard to figure out, is it? So that would just be 10 times 27, 270, plus 1 times 27, 27. So we'll say, okay, that would be 297. Okay, so that's our area that we talked about right there. Now, if we subtract the triangle, so we need to subtract the triangle. So the rectangle minus the triangle. Well, what's the area of the triangle? What is it going to be? So if we move this stuff out, So we look at this triangle again, and look at the area of the triangle, and we say, well, it looks like we can figure it out. We have to figure out two parts to it, right? We have to figure out the base, and if you think about it, so this side is 11, and from E to B is 6, so it means that the base here is 5. The base is 5. Okay. Now, it is a little tricky, so you see that this side of the triangle is 13. Okay, but that doesn't help us. That's the slant height. So the part I'm going to draw in yellow, that's what we have to get. Okay. So this is something that you're going to have to learn. Okay. So you're going to see that there's a 3, 4, 5. Okay, and so you might see a triangle like this. So if you, let's say that you saw something like this, 15, and this was 9, and you didn't know what it was, you'd say, oh, that's a Pythagorean triple, that's a 12, that has to be a 12. So what does that mean? That means that 9 squared plus 12 squared equals 15 squared. So let's see if that's true. 81 plus 144 equals 225. And yes, it does, right? Okay, but we have a different triple here. So we have a different triple in this case. So let's see what our triple is now. And so we've got a 13 and a 5. All right, so what happens is that after you've done this for a while, you start to recognize it. And you recognize that this pattern, using the Pythagorean Theorem, you can figure out what this is. But let's say that you can't remember it. Okay, so we say 13 squared equals 5 squared plus the leg squared. So we'll call it question mark squared. Okay, so 169 equals 25 plus question mark squared. Okay, but if we subtract, so let's find out, well, what's question mark squared? So it's 169 minus 25. So it's 144 equals question mark squared. So question mark must equal 12. Alright, so now we've got it. So we've got a triangle that is, the area is 5 times 12, but divided by 2. Okay, because the area of the triangle is half the area of the rectangle. So it is 30. So we do our 297 minus 30, and we get 267. So there's our answer.